These are the cards that people want. Unprepared is the best way I can sum up today's video. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. The Hot 10 video that happens on Saturday, they tend to follow a pattern. I mean, it's early Saturday morning. The coffee's in hand. I'm cupping it close. I'm chilling out. I'm adding things up, and I realize it doesn't make sense. Things aren't where they're supposed to be. Cards are not where they're supposed to be, and the world has taken a turn into like the upside down, saying, here's some cards we bought. We're not telling you why we did it, Moxman, but this is what happens when we do. So today's top 10, the Hot 10 this week is different. Almost no double masters have made the list. They've all been booted off the list, and Crazy Town has taken over. All kinds of weird cards that I had no idea were going to make the list are now here. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a walk through the looking glass window to say, what were people thinking? Why are these the cards that people want? But it doesn't matter because it already happened. The sales have been added up, and now we get to walk through the debris, the triage center, and figure out what were people doing this week. Let's get to it. Now here's a blast from the past. Streets of New Capenna. This did make the top 10 at one point, and it was still pretty cheap. Then it got booted off, came back one other time, and it's been gone now for several months. And here we are. It's back again. Streets of New Capenna, Ledger Shredder, that bird advisor saying, here I am, don't ignore me. 406 sales, bro. I get it. And it's holding strong. I'm surprised this sale price is actually held as long as it has, but it's being played a lot, and a lot of players enjoy this type of deck. So I get it. It's sticking around for a while longer yet. I'm just surprised it had enough sales to make the top 10. So way to go, Ledger Shredder. You're here, you're hanging, you're a bird advisor with some skills. I doubt you'll be here next week, but you know what? For now, we can just say at least you made it. You're back on the top 10, buddy. All right, now number 9. Number 9 is a card I kind of expected to be here, and that is Thought Scour. 592 sales. The card is so cheap that, I mean, there's no... Okay, it's 13 cents US, 40 cents for a foil. I mean, this is a very inexpensive card. I like what it does. Draws cards, mills things, good artwork. A lot of players have been buying this card. It has been on the top 10 before, but it's the idea that the sales on it are kind of low threw me off a bit. I think we have a lot of wallet fatigue and people kind of mending the fences and starting to solidify positions in other areas of Magic. They're saying, I'm going to go back and buy this, go back and buy this. And this card, although it's inexpensive, a lot of players have been hitting it up. It's already sold several thousand copies since the release of Double Masters 2022, so we can't be too surprised on that card. Now let's go ahead and take a look at number 8. Vesner, the Shaper Savant? However you pronounce this stuff, guys. You know how I am with this stuff. All right, Future Sight Edition. 593 sales. Why? What is going on that brings this card all of a sudden into my top 10? It has flash. Okay, 4 for a 2/2 with flash. When he comes into play, return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. It's not the worst card. It's good to bounce things. I guess used in a combination of other decks, it makes sense. I just never expected Vesner to make this list. I used to love the Planeswalker, by the way. But the idea that this card out of the blue is made it into the top 10 for some reason. So I'd love to hear some comments in the comment section about this card. It threw me for a loop when I started adding things up and saw some of the sales coming in from people that this was it. I was like, okay, let's take a look and see what we got. Now, let's go ahead. Let's jump down to number 7. Lightning Bolt, Showcase Edition, Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate. Now, I know Rudy, the Taco King, has talked about this card, loves the artwork, likes the style. The foils are inexpensive. 693 sales this week. This is an attractive card. I personally do find it a great looking card. It's very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of the old D&D books, so I like it. I get it. I have 4 already, and I bought them for less than this, that's for sure. I think I paid $3 for a playset. And they're not foil, they're just regular. But I look at that card, and I think some players are taking advantage of these cheap prices, going back and just picking up some of the fun stuff they can get their hands on now. Still buying cards, but not spending a whole ton of cash, you know? Not draining everything out. They're saving up for other things. They're recuperating from Double Masters, and they don't want to buy more Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, so they're just picking up some of these individual cards. Now, for number 6, we've got Arid Mesa, Modern Horizons 2. 803 sales. We know this card has been really cheap as of late. The last few months, I've mentioned this a few times on the channel, and it looks like some people are starting to peck at this card and start picking it up. $16.38 US is a very inexpensive price. This is, of course, a fetch land, guys, and I don't think Wizards is actually reprinting these anytime soon. I think they're going to let the market reabsorb a lot of these. I think we may have a break from seeing these type of lands come back. I think even Modern Horizons 3 may not have that solid base of these lands. Wizards may look to other mana-based cards to put into the set to give the fetch lands an extra year or two rest. Give it like a 5-year span to let these cards come back. I know everyone's hoping for the enemy fetches. Wizards might want those cards to appreciate a little bit more in value. Take a year to print those and then bring the other ones back around. I just think we're going to be waiting a while. So I can understand why a lot of people are now starting to take a poke at the Arid Mason, saying, yeah, I like that card. Let's pick up a couple copies here and there. Let's fill out a deck or two. Let's get a playset of 4 for like 70, 80 bucks. It makes sense. Very inexpensive. Now, number 5, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. About time it made it back into the top 10. It was here at the very beginning, and then it got booted out, but people are knowing now. They're catching on. They've watched my channel. They've watched other channels like it, and they said, Modern Horizons 2, it's coming to an end. Not a lot of product is getting open. Not a lot more of these cards are being flushed into the market anymore. So whatever's out there is out there. And it's going to slowly be drained out. Now is the time to grab some copies. I told that a week or two. The price actually is going up a bit. If you take a look at your stores locally, you'll see prices are drifting up ever so slowly. It's not really being noticed on the market like MTG stocks where I get these little images from, but we are getting there. Okay, it is starting to be noticed that cards like this and the fact that Modern Horizons 3 could see another one of these cards added to the mana base means you don't know what's going to happen, but we're sure something is on that horizon sooner or later. Wizards could always spice a set up by putting one of these types of lands into a regular edition set. Don't be surprised if they do that kind of stuff too. Depends on how they want to beef things up. Great card though, great value. I mean, less than 10 bucks. Seriously, you think it's going to stay there? It's ridiculous. All right, number 4, Otawara the Soaring City. Another card I was surprised to see back in the top 10. I did put some of these cards on the card watch because I noticed an increase in sales. But when you start adding this stuff up, you see the playability, you see what people are doing with it in the meta, and you're like, okay, look at the formats this is being played in. Look what people are starting to put together, and you can see cards like this are going to be held up to a higher standard later on when things rotate out. And again, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is kind of at a standstill for being opened right now. Otawara is an amazing offensive, defensive card that can be played, doesn't come into play tapped. The artwork is gorgeous on the card. There's a lot of facets that you can look at that card and say it has a lot of playability, a lot of good things going for it. It's legendary. I love this card, okay? I'm glad I've got the copies I already have. I'm not really worried about it. And I got them when they were cheap, like 4 or 5 bucks. I knew this card was going to have value. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at number 3 this week. Another surprise jumping back in there is Esper Sentinel Modern Horizons 2 at number 3 with 1,103 sales. Now, this card was a little bit lower a while ago. It kind of bounced back. It's staying pretty steady. People have asked me about this card. I've had some comments on the channel, the Discord, email. I think this card will actually slowly still creep up. It's just too good not to. It's going to slowly get a little bit higher in value and hold there unless we see Wizards reprint it once again. And I don't think they will. Knowing Wizards the way I do, they are going to hold some value to this stuff. They need some value to kind of rebuild back into the card. So they're going to stop the reprinting for a while and stuff like this. They've got enough other cards they can tackle to add to sets to give these cards a couple of years of rest. Let the market absorb what's out there, push the prices a little higher, and bring it out as a little bit more of a stingy drop of a card. Very good card, a lot of playability. Now, number 2 this week is Taknuma Abandoned Mire. Just like Otawara, 1,209 sales. We got strong sales, great card. And going to the future with things like Brothers War, Planeswalkers coming in. Remember, the channel ability is great. You can use this thing all the time. Discard Taknuma, mill 3 cards, then return a creature or Planeswalker card from the graveyard to your hand, and this thing costs 1 less. That card is sick. for $3-4. Now, the sales are showing me that people are starting to take notice of this card. They're starting to pick it up. If you don't have a play set of 4, get it out of the way before anything happens. The card's not going to go much lower. It may go up, though. So why pay a higher rate when you know it probably won't go much lower than what it's at now, but the higher rates could come later on. This card can easily go to a $10, $12 card as it rotates out, and it's found homes in future formats. So I made sure I got my 4. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a hiccup there, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm surviving. It's, you know, Saturday morning. It's all good. The bacon's being made right after this video is done. All right, now, the number 1 card this week. Interesting card to talk about. Let's go ahead and take a look. That's right. I can't pronounce it. Seat of the Empire. That's how I'm going to say it. Guys, 1,283 sales. The sales overall this week are lower. Okay, the Seat of the Empire is never one of those good cards. I mentioned it actually in the Card Watch video, and I wonder if that had some effect on players picking up extra copies this week. But it's an inexpensive card like Taknuma. People recognize the value, and things are happening. But the interesting thing that I want to mention, everyone, is when you look at these sales and you add the figures up, again, it's month over month, week over week. The sales are actually lower than they've been in the past for any of my top 10 videos. This isn't 3,000 or 4,000 sales. This is 1,200 sales. It's not even 1,900 sales. It's 1,200 sales, 1,100 sales. I'm used to cards hitting a certain level, okay? And they're not hitting it right now. So I'm not sure what's tying up people's capital. I'm sure it's wallet fatigue on one side, really draining people out and just people being fed up and saying, I've had enough. And on that second side of the battlefield, they're like, I got Brothers War, I got Dominaria, I want to know what's coming. I'm just going to hold the powder dry. Those cards aren't going anywhere. They may be creeping up in value slowly, but they're actually not disappearing out of the market. They're not going anywhere. So people are waiting and holding on to see what will happen with these next 2 sets. I think the end of the year, December, is going to be a very interesting year for Magic as things close out the year on these sales figures. I think we're going to see an uptick late November. It's going to be fascinating to follow this stuff, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to drop some comments in the comments section. Let me know what you guys think. And let's see where this all goes next week. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be awesome. And of course, a big shout out to each and every patron of my channel. You guys are epic. You make these videos happen. Without you, what can you say? I'd be eating nachos and cheese alone. You didn't think I left you, did you? Guys, I would never leave you hanging like that. Of course I'm back. I had to go down, then I came back up. That's what happens in life. Sometimes you go, sometimes you stay. Should I stay or should I go now? Remember that one? Great tune. Anyway, thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here at the end. You're the people, the special people who make it to the end. And you know what we're going to put in the comments section because I'm really feeling it today? Bacon and eggs. Right there in the comments section. Nobody will know what you're doing. They'll see, why is this person commenting bacon and eggs? Yeah, mix that into a sentence. Bacon and eggs. That's how I know.